Hi friends, this is officially autumn and I want to invite you to my October stitch along where we will be stitching those beautiful vegetable garden. And in this video I'm gonna be talking about materials that you will need for this project. So if you guys have some questions, just ask me in the comments below. So this is an illustration that I made this week and I really love it. I already transferred my pattern to the fabric and I used light method. I was transferring using my light pad. You can also transfer pattern using your iPad. I have a tutorial on my YouTube channel. So I have a linen fabric and as you can see it has holes. This fabric is a little bit transparent. I added one more layer of cotton. But if your linen fabric is solid and you cannot see through, you don't need to do that. It just for my type of fabric. So if you have this type of linen that is hard to see through, I recommend another pattern transferring method. It's a stick and stitch stabilizer, and you can print the design directly on this stick and stitch paper, and it's sticky. Then you just peel off the stabilizer with the pattern printed on it and stick it to your fabric. Then when you will finish stitching you can just wash it away. So I don't like to wash my embroidery, so I try the light method first, and only when it's not working for me well, I use stick and stitch solvay stabilizer. So those are two my favorite types of pattern transfer that I recommend you to try. It's not necessary for you to stitch on linen fabric. You can choose Kona cotton solids 10 squares, or you can use this Kona cotton set of the fabrics, and it will also look nice. All about pattern transferring and full list of the materials you can find in my PDF pattern. There are links to different tutorials and details and where to find materials, everything in the PDF pattern. So just go ahead, check the link in the video description below and download this pattern to be prepared for our stitch along. This is an 8 inches hoop, and it's about 20 centimeters size, and additional layer of fabric, it allows you to keep your both fabrics in the hoop really tight. And what I also did is I wrapped my inner hoop with fabric as well, because as you know, for hand embroidery you need to have your fabric drum tight, just like this, so you will not create any wrinkles, and this is one of the most important thing when you are embroidering. So what else we will need? I already posted the full color palette that I'm gonna be using. These are my thread colors. You can take a look on this color palette later if you join the stitch along. And you will also need embroidery needles. Those are just the regular embroidery needles from DMC, the numbers 3 to 9, and I'm gonna be probably using all the different sizes from this set. I usually use the biggest needle for 6 strands and something in the middle like this, or this needle I will be using for 3 strands. And when we will do some outline, I will use only 1 strand of floss, and I will use the smallest needle from here or from here. So having this set of needles is really handy, because you will need different kind of sizes depending on how many threads you are using for a project. If you are going to be transferring your pattern with light method, I would recommend to use the pilot friction, so the ink will disappear on heating when you are done your embroidery, and you will not need to wash your embroidery. This pen creates a really sharp lines and I really love it, and this is my first go-to if the fabric allows me to transfer the patterns with light method. You can try different brands if palette friction is too expensive for you. Any kind of pen with this type of eraser will work for you. Just make a little test on the corner of your fabric. Just make a few lines and try to remove it with iron or hair dryer, so you can make sure that it doesn't leave any ghost lines, and it's good to go. And you will also need some scissors and maybe some pincushion or needle minder. I will be also using the hoop stand like this. This one will be attached to my table, so my embroidery will stay still and you will see all the details what I'm doing on the video. And if you also like to have this kind of hoop stand, or there's another version for the sitting position where you can stitch on the couch or everywhere else. I will also leave the link for those hoop stands in my PDF pattern and in the video description below. There are two ways how you can join my stitch along. You can join my stitching club on Patreon or Substack, and you can also, there is a new feature on Patreon where you can purchase the access to the folder where I will be posting all the updates for this pattern separately. And if you join my stitching club, you will find a lot of embroidery patterns already available on my stitching club. For example, this little pumpkin where you can practice a little bit before the big project is already there, and this is a beginner level. And this entire project also I will be trying to do as simple as I can, so any beginner could follow me along and stitch with me, and I will be trying to explain everything in details. There will be no long intros or some complicated techniques, only simple stitches that beginners can do. Also, I was working on this project on weekends, and I will probably make a pattern for my stitching club as well in the future, so consider joining my stitching club if you want to get it. And this simple pattern will also go on Patreon very soon, because it should be really easy to make, and this is just a chain stitch and the back stitch, so it's a really nice project to practice in just a few hours to complete. Let me give you a quick tour to the PDF pattern that is available right now. So this is the first page, and you will have the full list of materials and tools with the links where you can get it. And there are also links to my educational articles about different tips and tricks for beginners. So I explain all the materials that you will need, and there is also a color palette with a full list of the color codes that I'm gonna be using. I may add or remove some colors on the go, but basically I will use most of the colors from this list. Feel free to use your own colors if you don't have some colors that I mentioned here. It's okay if you have a similar color in your thread stash, just go ahead and use it if you like how it looks like together with all the rest. It's not necessary to follow my exact color palette, but most of the teachers I know, they like when they have the full list of colors and they use the specific colors that I'm using. So, and this is a pattern for transfer to the fabric. You can print it on your stick and stitch solvi, or you can transfer it with the light method that I explained here in this pattern. And there is also a version with stitch directions for the satin stitch. As you can see, I made stitches direction for all the places where you will use satin stitch. So you're gonna be following the right stitching direction. You can print this version, or you can transfer on only this one and just look at these pictures to make sure that you're following the right stitches direction. Just do whatever you feel comfortable with. On this page you will find the pattern transferring instructions for the light method, for the stick and stitch solvi, and other options that you may use. So this is how my pattern looks like right now. I will update it with additional instructions and illustrations for the objects that I'm gonna be stitching on the go. For example, while I will stitch the pumpkin, I will make stitching instructions for the pumpkin and post it on Patreon as I go after the video tutorial. So I will be going live 3 times per week, giving myself 1 day between the live streams so I can make additional instructions and explanations. Please leave your comments in the video description below if you are going to be stitching with me. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell so you will be notified when I will plan my next video tutorial. I will be stitching this design on the live streams with you, and those are going to be real-time videos where you will see all the details, every teeny stitch that I will make. You don't need to know all the stitches that I'm gonna use. I will be explaining everything as I go, and you will learn a lot in the process. Just go ahead and try it. If you are too scared, I recommend to try this small project first and see how it turns out. You can always ask me questions in the Discord chat that you will get access to when you join my stitch along, and I will be able to help you. And there are other stitchers just like you, beginners, intermediate levels, advanced stitchers, and they will also give you some advices, so you are not alone. We are a nice community and you will find a lot of stitching friends. So that's it for this video. I'm looking forward for your comments and I will see you on Monday. Bye guys!